All right, guys, we are continuing with how to write linear equations. Typically, we will write them in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Standard form is a little bit harder to come up with. It's not hard to graph from, as we saw in the last video, but it's harder to come up with the values a, b, and c, especially making them not be fractions. So we're going to pretty much stick with y equals mx plus b for how we're going to write the equations. So we're going to look at a couple different ways. So the first way we're going to look at is how to write the equation if we are given the graph of the line. So here's the steps. We are going to first just look at what is the y-intercept, where does it cross the y-axis, and then we're going to determine the slope by counting the rise and run using 2 points on the graph. Okay, so let's start with this first example. So I want to find my y-intercept, that's step one. So right here, my line is crossing the y-axis right here at -2. Now I want to find my slope. So I want to pick two nice points, and you guys can kind of see them. They're kind of like little black dots along the line. I want to use two of those. You're welcome to use the y-intercept as one of them. You don't have to. You can use any two. So I'm going to pick actually these two right here just because I think it's going to be easier for you guys to see through the video. So I want the rise and run. So the rise to get from here to here is 2 units, and the 1 is the run. And it's a positive slope because it's increasing. So it's 2 over 1 or just 2, okay? So the equation, to actually answer this question, it said write the equation. I would put y equals m, my m is 2, x plus b is -2, so we can just write -2 there as well. So this would be the answer here, how you write the equation of the line. So you got to find these two pieces, the slope and the y-intercept, and then you can write the equation. All right, let's try that again. Okay, so y-intercept is where we want to start. So y-intercept on this one, it crosses here, which would be 1. The slope, okay, so I want 2 nice points. I don't really have those nice little black dots that I had on this one, so here's kind of the other thing you want to look at. What it means by a nice point. You want it to cross through the grid lines at a good spot. So honestly, this one, the best one I think is maybe the end right here, okay, or this end. Because if you look at these other ones, so the y-intercept is a good point, so I'm going to use maybe the y-intercept and that one. But this is not a good point. It's not crossing nicely through those crosshairs. It's like partially through a square. This one's really close, but it kind of cuts off the corner of a square. Same with this one. So really the only couple good ones are like the very end. So try and find a nice point to be able to do this where you're counting whole squares, not fractions of squares. Okay, so in here, I'm going to count my rise and my run. You can do it this way, or you could do it this way. Does not matter. The rise either way is 3 units, and the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 3 over 5, but my line is going down. So this should be a -3/5. Okay? All right, so we're writing my equation, y equals m x plus b. All right. Now we're going to look at how do I write the equation if we are given a point and slope. Okay? So we are going to substitute the slope, the x and y values into our equation to figure out the y-intercept. Rewrite the equation with the slope and y-intercept. Okay, so in this case we know m, but we don't know b. And we need both parts to be able to write our equation. Okay, so right now here's what I have. I have y equals m, so slope of -5, so -5x plus b. Now remember, b is the y-intercept, so y-intercepts are always 0, comma, a number. Well, guess what? That's actually what they gave me right here. That is the y-intercept, so that is b. So I actually really didn't have to even follow these steps. If you recognize that right off the bat, that you have 0 and then the number, that is your b. So I'm just going to write -4 there instead of the b. Now sometimes it won't always be that nice to us. Like in this one, we have a slope of -3, so I have y equals -1/3 x plus b at this point is not 0 and then a number, so that is not the y-intercept. So I'm just going to write plus b for right now. Okay, so now we're going to follow these steps. So we have our slope already in there. We are going to use this point. That is an x value, and that's a y value that are on this line. So I'm going to substitute 3 in for x and -5 in for y, and we can solve for what b should be. So I'm going to put -5 in for y, keep the slope there, and it's -1/3 times x. So I'm going to get negative 1/3 times x. I'm plugging in 3 for x. Don't know b. All right, so we can simplify this. I'm going to show that kind of longhand here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Multiplying with fractions, I'm going to make that 3/1. Multiply straight across, I'm going to get negative 3/3, which I can simplify to -1. So this part just turns into -1, so let's rewrite that up here. So we got -5 equals -1 plus b. My whole goal is to figure out what b is, so we need to get b by itself. Last step, add 1. So I get b is equal to -4. So we're going to write our equation now, because that ultimately was our goal, is write the equation. So y equals m, we already knew that, -1/3, x, and then b we just solved for is -4. So that would be how we need to answer that. So we first had to find b, and then answer the question with m and b, the numbers in there. All right, a couple more examples here, guys. All right, okay, sorry, this kind of cut off here. I'm going to rewrite, well, this part right here is just supposed to be y. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So remember, when there's those little ones or little twos we've seen before, that's talking about a specific ordered pair, a specific number that goes with a point. The x and the y, just like with slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, those are just representing any x or y that could be on that line. So we're going to leave those in there, but x1, y1, and m we need numbers for. Okay, so we're going to write an equation in point-slope form. This is just another way to write lines. So we're going to write an equation in point-slope form with a line that has a slope of 2, so m equals -2, and passes through the point 4, -3. So this is the specific x and specific y that it has to use. So I put little ones there to designate that. So I'm just going to rewrite this here. So y minus y1 is -3 equals, and then m, -2, times x minus x1. So x minus x1 is 4. This is point-slope form. The beautiful thing about this is you can stop right here. The only other thing I might say is typically we would simplify that to say y plus 3. And that would be point-slope form. So this one is really handy if you don't know the y-intercept. Just another way to write the equation of a line. Okay, we're going to do that same thing here, you guys, with this last example. So slope of 4. And here's my x1 and y1 that it has to go through. So I'm going to use y minus y1, -2, equals m is 4, times x minus x1. And then again, we could simplify that and write y plus 2 equals 4 times x minus 3/4. So this is kind of the last and final form we're going to show you guys, is this point-slope form. All right, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.